up, you guys? Today, I just found out that the parents of Ethan Crumbley, I believe is how you say his name, they have been charged. And I am shocked that they are going to have to deal with the consequences of their actions when they purchased this gun for their son. I mean, they actually pressed charges on them. I am surprised about this, and I want to talk about it. If you guys haven't heard the story about the school shooting, I will get you up to speed. My name is Hamin Phillips, you guys, and you're watching Raw Topic.
Perfect.
Thank you. You guys. So I know you heard about the Oxford school shooting. Four confirmed dead. I believe about 8 or 9 injured, including a teacher was shot. I think the teacher has been discharged. But this Ethan Crumbley, how do you? His name is weird. Crumbley, I believe. He he was his father purchased his gun for him. I guess it was a Christmas gift. He posted the gun on social media saying, "Hey, look what I got." Then he kind of posted a warning, and then the next thing you know, the next day, he's shooting up the school, and now they are pressing charges against the parents. You guys. Um, let's see, who is that? Matthew, what's up on YouTube? I believe that I heard that the arraignment will be at 4 o'clock today. Okay, for the parents. All right, thanks for that information. Um, so I just wanted to jump on here and see what do you guys think about that? I mean, they are holding the parents responsible for this kid's actions. Do you guys think that's fair? Do you think that the parents should be held responsible? Because think about it. If these parents are getting charged for what Ethan did, then the parents of Brian Laundrie should also be charged. And I know you guys heard about the story of Brian Laundrie and Gabby Patillo. They went hiking and she ended up dead. And then the parents were not helpful. They were sending the FBI on a wild goose chase. They had to have been helping Brian Laundrie the whole time. And they were never charged for withholding information. I mean, they should, if these parents are getting charged, I believe the parents of Brian Laundrie should be charged. But I'm just surprised that they are charging the parents because normally you don't see this happen. So there was a press conference about this. And let me cue that up for you guys so that you can watch. Let me find it here. Oh, wrong video. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. Here we go.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen McDonald. I'm the Oakland County Prosecutor. Joining me this morning.
This is the press conference, you guys.
For all of us, as we continue to mourn the loss of the 4 children who were shot and killed this week in Oxford High School. We've heard some positive news that some of those injured in Tuesday's shooting have made some progress recovering from their physical injuries. While the physical wounds of the victims are starting to heal, the emotional wounds to the victims, students, and the entire community will last for years. I continue to work with Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard and his team to stay close to the facts and evidence of this case as it continues to evolve. My role as the Oakland County Prosecutor is to seek justice for the victims of this tragedy. The family, friends, and loved ones of Hannah St. Juliana, Madison Baldwin, Tate Murr, and Justin Schilling, and the other victims have had their lives shattered. As I mentioned a few days ago, I did have the opportunity to speak with the parents of the children who were killed. Additionally, my office has reached out this morning to all of the victims who were injured. And we continue to be dedicated to offering them services and support during this time. While the shooter was the one who entered the high school and pulled the trigger, there are other individuals who contributed to the events on November 30th, and it's my intention to hold them accountable as well. It's imperative we prevent this from happening again. No other parent or community should have to live through this nightmare. I have shared previously, and I will reiterate today, that gun ownership is a right. And with that right,
What's up, Badger?
comes
How
great
you doing?
responsibility.
What's up,
Based on the
Leo? What's
information
good?
and evidence I have received, today I am announcing charges against the shooter's parents, Jennifer and James Crumbley.
Stop right there. Jennifer and James Crumbley have been charged, man. Wow. They're holding them responsible, and they should. I mean, they had to have known that their kid was off the hinges, man. Like, you got to know something like that. If you're any kind of parent, you got to know if your kid is capable of doing this, or you have to know your kids well enough to know, is it safe to put a gun in their hands? How did these parents not know that this kid was going to fly off the rails? What's up, Badger? Badger said the victims were called children, but the suspect is being charged as an adult. I don't support the shooter in any way, but consistency sometimes. Okay, I respect that. I guess, Badger, to answer your question, I guess they're saying, hey, this guy killed 4 people. He's an adult. If you can go into school with a gun and start shooting and killing people, you're an adult. And I think, that's why they're charging him as an adult, because of his actions. But how old is he? 15, you guys? Let me know in the comment section if anyone knows if he is in fact 15, or is he older than that. But yeah, I mean, he is a kid, but look at his actions. His actions were of a grown man. Let's see what Leo has to say. Let me see if I can move these comments a little bit. Leo said, I would blame bullying and all that that happens to a kid in school. Okay, Leo, that's fair. But when the cops asked him why he did it, he's not talking, man. I mean, we really don't know. No one really confirmed if he was actually bullied. So as of right now, we have really no confirmation or information that says this guy was even being bullied. We do know, from looking at, if you were to do a little background in this guy with YouTube videos and things like that, he had kind of a sinister thing going on as far as drawings and things that he was into. So we really don't know if he was bullied. I mean, we're assuming that he was, but he may not have even been bullied. But I get what you're saying. That's a good point. Badger said, lock up your guns easy. I mean, yeah, if you, as a parent, you concealed carry and all this and that, you're supposed to have a gun in the case and all that. Why would you not have these guns locked up? I mean, and I think this is why the parents are being charged. I don't think they wanted to hide the gun from the kid, I think they wanted him to have access to the gun. I don't think they thought that he would go out and kill people. But as far as his post on social media, he was like, hey, look at my gift. This is my Christmas gift. So I don't think the parents ever wanted to keep it from him. But they should have, because this kid was unstable. And that's why the parents are being charged. Let's see. We got Matthew on YouTube. The parents should have locked up the guns where he could not get at it. Yep, we just kind of went over that. I agree with that. And Badger on Facebook said this school had a police officer assigned to the school, yet this still happened. Yeah, I mean, you guys got to understand too, though, that one police officer, and depending on how big a school is, 500 students, or if not more, and then we don't. How many floors could the school be? I mean, you can only be so many places at once. So if the police was on the other side of the school and this went down, what can he really do? He has to kind of put himself in a position to act accordingly. So what schools need to do is just have more people trained to deal with this situation. Whether you get the teachers trained up and get them armed, or you get security guards, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. But yeah, I believe that one officer is not enough. I think all these schools do need to get more staffing for these kind of situations. So I agree with you when it comes to that. Let's see what else she's saying here.
The charges are as follows. James Crumbley is charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Jennifer Crumbley is also charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. I will now publish the details that led to that decision and have already previously been made public, which allows me to comment on
Wow,
them
so
and
they were
swear
actually
to
charged
them
with
justice
manslaughter.
in the district court.
They're not
By
playing.
Officer Detective Tim Willis. The investigation into the school shooting incident at Oxford High School, which occurred on November 30th, 2021, has revealed that James Crumbley purchased a Sig Sauer 9mm model SP 2022 from Acme Shooting Goods in Oxford, Michigan on November 26, 2021. A store employee confirms that Ethan Crumbley was present with James at the time of the purchase. Per statute, James Crumbley completed ATF Form 5309A. On or about November 26, 21, Ethan Crumbley's social media posts reveal photos of the semi-automatic.
Stop right there. His social media revealed post of the semi-automatic. Did no one see the post? Did anyone not get the memo? I mean, come on, you guys. The kid is posting on social media, Facebook, YouTube, wherever, that, hey, I have a gun. I mean, did anyone not take this seriously? But when we see something like that, is that not a red flag? Badger said they had the warning signs and the school was meeting with their parents prior to this event, and it still happened. Wow. So the parents were meeting with the school regarding his behavior, Badger? Is that what you're saying? And yet, this still happened. I mean, that's crazy. So if the school is aware of this kid's behavior, and the parents know that this kid was, for one thing, why would the parents go get a gun, put a gun in the house if you know your kid having problems in school as it is? That's about the dumbest thing you can do. I mean, I'm sorry, as a parent, you don't add gas to the fire. If you know your kid got some issues and something ain't right, what you go get him a gun as a gift? I'm sorry, man, but that's not smart. Leo said the solution to the problem is clear. What's up, Stephanie Lauren? Thanks for liking the stream. Appreciate you for stopping by. Leo said the solution to the problem is clear. It just comes down on doing it and make it happen. I understand that people don't want to give up their guns, but maybe that is best for everybody. What's up, John McAfee? How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Leo, man, that is. I agree, but a lot of people don't want to give up their guns, and a lot of people want the right to bear arms. But like you said, I mean, less guns out there, less problems, I think. But it's going to be hard to get guns out of people's hands, man. But you see, when we have these guns out here. These kids are getting hold of it. How many times are we hearing about kids getting hold of the parents' guns and then killing the parents? I've seen that in the news quite a bit. A 2-year-old, a 3-year-old finds a gun, shoots the parent. I'm like, what? Like, where was the gun? Under the bed or on a nightstand? How is this even happening? We gotta be smarter, and I'm glad that they're charging the parents, because this is going to be a wake-up call for other parents. Like, look, you will be charged if you do something this stupid. I mean, kids died, man, and somebody has to be held responsible. And I agree with the DA and the state on this one, that it wasn't just the kid's fault. The parents had no business buying a gun and putting a gun in that house, knowing that their kid was off his hinges. That was just not smart, and they are going to have to pay for that. Let's continue with the video. Keep on leaving comments, though. I'm reading your comments, and I will post the comments on the live stream, because I want to know what you guys think. I want to know how you feel about this, and what is your take? Should the parents be charged, and are they doing the right thing by charging these parents?
Handgun, along with the caption, "Just got my new beauty today," including an emoji with hearts. "Sig Sauer 9mm. Any questions I will answer," end quote. Subsequent to the purchase of that weapon, one of Jennifer Crumbley's social media posts on about 11/27/21 read, quote, "Mom and Sunday testing out his new Christmas present," end quote. On November 21st, 21, a teacher at the Oxford High School observed Ethan Crumbley searching ammunition on his cell phone during class and reported the same to school officials. Jennifer Crumbley was contacted via voicemail by school personnel regarding that son's inappropriate internet search. School personnel indicate they followed that voicemail up with an email but received no response from either parent. Thereafter, Jennifer Crumbley exchanged text messages about the incident with her son on that day, stating, quote, "LOL, I'm not mad at you. You have to learn not to get caught," end quote.
What?
On November 30th, 21, the morning of the shooting, the next day, Ethan Crumbley's teacher came upon a note on Ethan's desk which alarmed her to the point that she took a picture of it on her cell phone. The note contained the following: a drawing of a semi-automatic handgun pointing at the words, quote, "The thoughts won't stop, help me," end quote. In another
The
section
thoughts
of the
won't
note was a
stop.
drawing of
What?
a bullet with the following words above that bullet, quote, "Blood everywhere," end quote.
You kidding me?
Between the drawing of the gun and the bullet is a drawing of a person who appears to have...
Stop right there, man. This kid is drawing stuff saying the blood everywhere and the thoughts won't stop. What? And the parents ain't thinking that this is a little bit off, that something may not be wrong with this kid? Blood everywhere. The thoughts won't stop. What thoughts? The thoughts of murdering people? The parents had the signs, man. What would make them think that getting a gun is the best thing to do for their son? Like, what was that? I think that maybe because of all these crazy drawings, maybe we should get him a gun. Yeah, maybe that will keep his mind off the crazy drawings. Parents, come on, man. Y'all got to be kidding me right now. Oh, boy. Let's see what else she say here.
Shot twice and bleeding. Below that figure is a drawing of a laughing emoji. Further down the drawing are the words, quote, "My life is useless," end quote. And to the right of that are the words, quote, "The world is dead," end quote.
This kid sounded
result,
like he had some mental health issues and suicidal.
A school counselor came to the classroom and removed the shooter and brought him to the office with his backpack. Counselor obtained the drawing, but the shooter had already altered it. The drawings of the gun and the bloody figure were scratched out along with the words, "Help me," and "My life is useless." "The world is dead," and "Blood everywhere." Those were all altered.
So this kid was clearly asking for help, asking somebody to pay attention to him.
And were advised that they were required to get their son into counseling within 48 hours. both James and Jennifer Crumbley failed to ask their son if he had his gun with him or where his gun was located, and failed to inspect his backpack for the presence of the gun, which he had.
Stop right there. Why would these parents not interrogate their son before he left? Why would they not make sure he did not have that gun? Why would they not have the gun not in a place where he can't get it? There's just so many things that went wrong in this scenario. The kid is clearly begging and asking people, hey, look, I'm depressed. I got mental health problems. I'm screaming for attention. Help me. But it was all ignored until he went and started killing people. Then all of a sudden people want to listen and pay attention. And now the parents are all shocked. But yet, look what he was drawing. Look what he was saying. Let me see what this comment by Leo says here. It's hard to tell if parents are responsible for it or not. I'm not the detective on the case, but you knew yourself as a kid living with your parents. We hid a whole life our parents didn't know about, but this kid sounds sick. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Leo. But it's hard for me to. But how can his parents not know? I mean, you know, as a parent. I mean, I know what you're saying, Leo. I know me growing up. I know I had my secrets with my parents. I'm going sneaking out the house and going out, climbing out the windows, climbing down the trees, all type crazy stuff, going out in blizzards and just doing all kind of crazy stuff. I get it. Like, yes, kids hide things. But you know when your kid ain't right, though. As a parent, when your kid just a screw is loose, you know something ain't right. And you know you got to watch that kid closely. And you know you got to give that kid extra attention, extra love or something. So, it's not like these parents just woke up one day and was like, oh, I think our kid has some issues. No, they knew that the kid has some mental health issues. But my question is, what made them think by getting a gun, all his problems would be solved? I mean, I don't get it. I don't know what they were thinking. But let's continue with the video and see what she's talking about here.
James and Jennifer Crumbley resisted the idea of them leaving the school at that time, of their son leaving the school at that time. Instead, James and Jennifer Crumbley left the high school without their son. He was returned to the classroom. When the news of the active shooter at Oxford High School had been made public, Jennifer Crumbley texted to her son at 1:22 p.m., quote, Ethan, don't do it, end quote.
What?
At 1:37 p.m., James Crumbley called 911, reporting that a gun was missing from his house, and he believed his son may be the shooter.
Whoa. He knew when that gun was missing, he already knew that it was his son that was the shooter. How did he know that? Why? Because he knew his son had some mental health issues. This was not something they didn't know. When his gun was missing and he heard about shootings at the school, he knew in his gut it was his son that was the shooter. What does that tell you people? Come on. This ain't rocket science. That tells you that them parents already knew that this kid was unstable. But why would you introduce a gun to him, though? What was that? Let me read this comment from Scar Jack on Facebook. It starts with the parents. If you can't talk to your kids about how they're feeling and what's going on in their head, then you don't need to be a parent. Hallelujah on that one. I agree, man. And you know what? These days, I feel like that is lacking. We live in this fast-paced world where we go to work and then what? Practices for the kids or football, soccer, baseball, whatever it may be. Maybe you got a second job. And before you know it, you really just lose that connection with your children, or you get caught up in the rat race and you assume everybody's okay and you're not checking on people. And I feel like in today's society, in the world we live in, where it's so stressful as it is, and then we got coronavirus to worry about. Then we got to worry about is the vaccine, and if you ain't got the vaccine, is you gonna lose your job? And it's just so much crap these days to worry about. Period. So it's easy to not have a minute to simply talk to your kids. I mean, do people really all sit at the dinner table and have conversations like back in the day? Do we all like remember back in the day when you would have dinner and everybody comes to the table, put their phone down, and they talk? How was your day? What's going on with you? I mean, how many people are still doing that? How many families actually do that? You know, with technology, cell phones and social media, laptops, people, I doubt it if 50% of America is sitting at the table with their kids for dinner. I bet they're on the couch watching TV, watching some kind of series, eating, or whatever. I just don't think families are talking the way they used to back in the day. And that's why these kids are out here like this. The kid was saying he felt this way and that way and this and that, but no one cared to ask him how he felt. Even when he drew it and wrote it, the teachers, they showed the concern, but the parents obviously didn't address the situation. Let's see what we got here for comments. We got April on Facebook. How you doing? April said, reckless parenting is what took place. Yes, that is a good word right there, reckless. And I'm saying reckless because of the fact that they went and got a gun knowing this kid was not in the shape or in the mindset to have such a gun in his possession. Do you guys remember Juice, man? Remember Juice with Tupac? And he got that gun. He killing everybody, man. He killing all his boys. Raheem, Steele, the boys he run with, he killing them. Because he felt so much power. He felt the juice when he had that gun. It's something about having a weapon and you're not stable as it is. The last thing you need is a gun. Because now you all juiced up and you think you bigger than you is. I mean, come on. Look at the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. He went to the protest. He happened to have this big ass long gun. It hit the fan. He starts shooting because he had the gun. He wouldn't have been shooting had he not had the gun. He would have got an ass whooping and maybe went back to Illinois. But since he had a gun, he used it. So man, you don't put a gun in the hands of unstable children, people. Let's see what we got in the comments, man. April, she said people don't sit at the table anymore, right? Did I just not say that? I mean, I'd be very surprised how many families are actually stopping what they're doing, going to the table, putting away their phones, and having a meal, a dinner with their kids and actually having a conversation like back in the day. It's just, I don't see it. I don't think a lot of families are doing it anymore. The times have changed. And then that's why I think we are in this situation in America. I bet America is one of the few countries where families are so distant. I bet you other countries where they're like, even like third world countries that are poor, probably find more time to sit down with their family and ask them how they're doing. That's crazy. Let me do some more comments and then I'll get back to the video here. Sue, what's up? Thanks for joining us. She said this kid and other kids like him will be mimicking Kyle and in their little minds can walk free. We need justice, reform to make sure all states have the same laws. In this one, America. The school should have insisted he left with his entitled parents. Wow, Sue, you killed him. That is what I'm talking about, man. Everything she said right there is true. with this whole, like you said, mimicking Kyle. And that's why I was upset about the verdict, because I just felt like now that he was found not guilty, it's going to give more kids like him the fuel to try to do something stupid with their guns because they think they can go and get self-defense. I just think it's not going to solve the problem. It's going to make it worse, I think. And I felt like they should have gave them something to teach a lesson out here. And the fact that they get a not guilty verdict, I think that was just like reckless right there in the court system. That was reckless, because we're going to have copycat Kyles. We're going to have Kyles all over the place now. Let's see what else we got for comments, and then I'll play the video. But you guys are on fire with these comments, so I want to keep reading them right quick. Last King, what's up? He said, normal people don't just shoot people, no matter what they're going through. Yes, man. That's what I'm talking about. If you have a mindset that's normal, you're in the right place. Even if you're not exactly the happiest person, you might still be stressed out, a little depressed. You still got enough common sense to know you don't go kill people. So, kind of, yeah, like Last King said, normal people don't just shoot people. I mean, it's that simple. That should be on a t-shirt. Normal people just don't shoot people. Period. Boy. Leo. You can thank Republicans and Democrats for what's going on in the country. Nobody's able to sit down and talk to each other calmly and friendly. Then you get things like this happening. Yeah, man. Yep. This is true. April said the problem is people don't have the time because they are too busy chasing money to put food and roof over their family's head. Yeah, and that's what we've been saying. That's what that's the point I made as well. America, our country, is so fast paced right now, and everything going on with working and coronavirus and all this and that I just think we just stressed out as people, as parents. I mean, look, man, I'm a parent. I got 2 kids. I got a son who he got himself in trouble. He's doing time right now. I did the best I can as a parent, but a lot of it is your kids' choices too. You can't be with your kids 24/7, and you can't hold their hand in life. And your kids got to have enough common sense to make the right decisions as well. So my son messed up. I blamed myself. I felt like I failed him. He's young. He's 22 years old, and he's doing quite some time, a couple years. And I felt like, well, what did I not see or do? What was it that I did wrong? And I mean, you could think of a million things when you have time to sit down and think about it. I could have missed a couple of appointments or whatever things I was doing, my side businesses or whatever it was, and took more time to really talk to them and see what was going on. So I'm guilty of it as a parent, and I feel like a lot of parents are guilty of just getting caught up in the web of life. And then your kids is out here doing who knows what, and by the time you realize it, it's too late, All right, let's play the video, see what's up here.
Further investigation revealed that the 6-hour 9mm handgun purchased by James Crumbley was stored unlocked in a drawer in James and Jennifer's bedroom.
Unlocked.
The gun recovered from the shooter at the school after the shooting was the same gun that was purchased by his father, James Crumbley, on November 26, 2021, in the presence of his son. Based upon the foregoing, the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office requested and received, authorized, we charged 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter as to James Crumbley and 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter as to Jennifer Crumbley.
Wow. They're getting 4 counts. Let me stop right there, you guys. James and what is it? Jennifer? How the heck do you say their last name? Crumbley? They're getting 4 counts each. Crystal, what's up? Thanks for joining the stream. You got a lot to say, so let's see what it is here. The school should have went through his backpack and locker. When the parents denied while at the school that day, then the mom knew he had some bad ideas when she was texting him. The school should have sent him home with parents that day after they found the drawings and internet search of ammo on the phone. The school should have took extra precautions as well. Thank you. I mean, this is true. You know the kid was looking for ammunition. You know the kid was drawing pictures talking about blood this and I'm going to do this and that. And you might want to say, okay, security, maybe we should spoof things up for about this week. Maybe we should get extra security in here for a couple of weeks until, this blows over. Until we know that this kid is stable. See, I feel like people be playing with these kids, man. They be thinking these kids be playing. These kids ain't playing. When these kids are going through something and mentally they can't handle it, what's going on, they will act on that. And you have to take that seriously. And if you think you can wait a month, 2 months, it's too late. This kid done killed 4 people already and injured 8 or 9 people. And somebody made the mistake of saying he ain't serious. We don't have to take this serious. I mean, I don't know what they was thinking, but the signs were there and they just ignored it. And now look where we at. Let's see what we got. April said, in Michigan, they don't have to be locked up. We don't have a law for it. Oh, okay. I'm thinking of Wisconsin law, but you're right. Michigan probably has their own set of rules, and they probably don't have to be locked up. I get it. I guess what I'm saying is that for him, they should have locked it up. When you got kids that are something ain't right, that a screw might be loose, you might want to be like, okay, it ain't a law here in Michigan, but we gonna lock this up because our kids ain't got no common sense. I mean, come on. You already know as a parent, Leo says, that's why we can't have nice things. There you go. Yep. But then again, I mean, can we call a gun a nice thing? I mean, it ain't a toy that I'm going to want to play with. You know what I mean? But I see what you're saying. April said, even if there is an alarm for a responsible parent, would have their guns locked up. Yes. Yep. That's true. If you're a responsible parent, regardless of the laws in your state, you're going to do the responsible thing. And they dropped the ball. And now these parents are looking at 4 counts each, man. Crazy. Let's keep watching here.
I want to be really clear that these charges are intended to hold the individuals who contributed to this tragedy accountable and also send a message that gun owners have a responsibility.
Yes.
When they fail to uphold that responsibility, there are serious and criminal consequences.
Yes.
As we work together to honor the lives lost and all of those impacted by the evil acts this week, justice for the victims and their families is at the forefront of today's announcement. We need to do better in this country. We need to say enough is enough. For our kids, our teachers, parents, for all of us in this community and the communities across this nation.
Yep,
Happy to take
I
questions.
agree.
One moment. Go ahead, Mr. Scott.
Last night, the superintendent posted a video and suggested that as a result of that meeting, they saw no reason to contact law enforcement if there was no danger. Have you seen his video that was posted to YouTube last night? And is there any thought you can share on that based on what you said today?
I viewed portions of it and was briefed on the contents of the video.
Were there any missteps by the school? Should they have reported right away to law enforcement after seeing those images?
Any individual who had the opportunity to stop this tragedy should have done so. The
Yes.
question is, what did they know, and when did they know it?
Mm-hmm.
I've laid out the facts.
And I bet
that
so
were
many
sworn to
people
this
knew,
morning,
but they didn't
this
say
afternoon,
nothing.
and are the basis for the charges.
Somebody had
What's your
to
question?
know that,
You
know.
said, we need to do better. There needs to be change to prevent tragedies like this. It's extremely rare for parents to be charged in school shootings.
Yes, it's extremely rare for parents to be charged in a school shooting. He's
I
right.
have tremendous compassion and empathy for parents who have children who are struggling and at risk for whatever reason. And I am by no means saying that an active shooter situation should always result in a criminal prosecution against parents. But the facts of this case are so egregious. Reading this document, looking at it, reading the words, "help me," with a gun, blood everywhere. This doesn't just have impact me as a prosecutor and a lawyer, it impacts me as a mother.
Wow.
The notion that
Yes.
a parent could read those words and also know that their son had access to a deadly weapon that they gave him is unconscionable, and I think it's criminal.
Bam. She just said it, man. I think it's criminal to have given this kid that gun, knowing what he'd been doing prior to it, drawing and what he's been saying. It's criminal. And she's right. April says the teacher that first saw the note should have talked to the kid, not just tell the principal. Yes. And I don't know if she did. I mean, I can't imagine her not talking to the kid. I mean, I don't think it's hard to believe she just took the picture and just walked away. I mean, she had to say something to this kid. I feel like, we don't get the whole story, but any teacher in that situation, if they're a teacher, I would hope they would be a teacher and say something and say, look, what is everything okay at home? Are you okay? Why are you drawing this? What does it mean? So yeah, we don't know if the teacher didn't talk to him. I'm assuming they did because I can't imagine them not. But if teachers aren't talking to kids after stuff like that, then we got real big problems. Let's see what we got.
It is criminal.
Do the parents act as straw buyers for their son who is underage and not allowed to own a firearm in Michigan?
I believe that the facts probably indicate that that's the result, but that would be a federal charge, and if that's appropriate to make that, then I'm confident that they will. Question?
What level of responsibility do you expect from parents in situations like this?
Yes, April, I agree.
Well, again, I
hope she
don't
would
think
have, or
that this
the
is,
teacher, or whoever,
a
he.
unique or unusual interpretation. When you give your child access to a deadly weapon, when you indicate that you're buying a weapon and you sign that it's for yourself, yet clearly based on the statements of the shooter, the statements of mom, that was his gun.
Yes,
And then we have the searching of ammunition.
that was his gun.
We have mom saying, at least you didn't get caught.
Oh, my
We have
goodness.
the next morning drawing essentially almost explicitly what he was about to do. I expect parents and everyone to have humanity and to step in and stop a potential tragedy.
Are they in custody already?
I'm
Stop right there. Man, you guys, this is a tough one because I know a lot of us are thinking like, why would you, as a parent, even put your kid in a situation like this? You know you got a badass kid, right? So you don't give them stuff that's gonna make them even badder than what they already is. So we all know, and I know we're all thinking it. Why would the parents do this? Why would they put a gun in this kid's hands? April said, humanity is what is lost in this country. That sounds about right there. Crystal, you got a lot. You used to have a lot to say. Let me see here. Crystal said, I was raised around guns. My kids are raised around guns. Do I leave guns lay around to let my kids have free access? Absolutely not. Even if the gun is my kids, I'm still locking it up. It's not a gun issue. It's the parents' lack of responsibility of locking the guns up and letting their kid have access to it free will. And like I said earlier, the school should have took extra precautions when the kid is drawing murder scenes and searching ammo. Send him home immediately. This could have been avoided completely. Wow. That's so true, Crystal. Everything you said right there. I mean, yeah, I agree. Essentially, the parents knew what was going on and didn't care enough to stop it. Bad parenting. Yep. They dropped the ball. They took advantage of. They took it for granted, man. They took the situation for granted, and now they charge. The kids charged, and the parents is charged. So how that's gonna work? How you got the whole family in jail? Man, that's gonna be crazy right there. Who bail out who first in this situation? Let's see. Let me play the video.
I'm not going to make a comment on that.
Do you know if detail on the meeting between the parents and the school? You said they're resistant to having their son pulled out of class that day. Hours later he went on to do the shooting, and there was no communication from the parents that he may have access to a handgun or maybe in possession of a handgun after they had been publicly on social media.
I can confirm what I just stated, which is that they did not indicate to school officials or to their son and inquire about the whereabouts of the gun or the existence of the gun, to my knowledge.
Wow.
To have him removed and they
Man, April, you ain't playing. Lock them all up.
I'm not aware.
You want the whole family locked up, April?
Between
This was
All
when
everybody?
he was in school. He was returned back to class with his backpack,
Wow.
where we have reason to believe the gun was stored in the backpack. Did you have a question right here?
Yeah, did school officials ask to inspect the backpack or ask questions about whether the shooter had a weapon with him?
Not that we have been advised, no.
Do you know if between the first incident and the second at the school, the two teachers or whoever, were each aware of what had transpired? Like the teacher number 2, was that teacher aware of what happened on day 1 or the prior day?
I can't speak to that. I don't know.
And the other thing I have is for the families. Have you briefed them on what your investigation has found, specifically with
Why
the school?
is it annoying when they don't know
I have
things?
spoken to the parents and indicated the nature of the charges that might be coming. I have not spoken
Death row inmates? Dang, Leo.
Reaction in terms when
You want to give them death row?
with him about some of this.
Wow. You guys are ruthless in here today.
incredibly deep.
You guys are like,
pain.
y'all ain't going to give them no mercy.
Their reaction is as you expect. They will want anyone who had the opportunity to stop this from happening to have done it.
Will the parents be arrested today, or will they be allowed to turn themselves in?
I can't comment on that.
Is the process looking at anybody else for charges, maybe school officials?
The investigation is ongoing.
Does the school have any reason to believe, or the teachers have any reason to believe that he had a weapon on him that day?
I've stated what was known to the individuals, what the search indicated in ammunition, what the document, I
Yep,
stated every
that's a
single
good point,
sentence that was
April.
on that document. So I
Bad
suppose
parents make
you should draw
bad
your own
kids.
conclusion. The conclusion I draw is that there was absolute reason to believe this individual was dangerous and disturbed, and I'll leave it at that.
Is the district fully cooperating with the investigation?
He was more than that.
I haven't conducted the investigation, so I can't say.
Have you been in touch with the lawyer?
Prior to the shooting, did the district superintendent's office know about the issues that happened in the high school? Did it stay in the high school, or did someone in the high school actually go to the superintendent's office or the administration and say, this is what we have going on?
I don't have any information about that at this time.
Hindsight being what it is, how was this young man allowed to go back to class, given the circumstances you've described, the severity you're talking about? You mentioned it's still under investigation, and they're victims too. I'm not trying to assess blame, but yet.
Let me stop right there so I can see what Badger is saying, because you might be on to something. Badger said, I disagree with the terrorism charge since we still don't know the motive, and this 15-year-old was not trying to change government policy through violence. Terrorism, act of terrorism. Yeah, that's that's hard. I'm thinking because you're saying, like, could this have been, was this act of terrorism? Was it not? Could it be? I think it falls right in between the cracks right there of what this was and what the situation was, But yeah, I see what you're saying, Badger. But to say terrorism, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot more should have to be at play, but I guess I can see it at least a little bit. Let's see. Whoa, somebody got a lot going on in here. Patricia Brown said, I used to work with the kids in the school who were mentally disturbed. We had our own classroom. Wow, okay. And you seem to be just fine. So, I mean, I don't understand, like, why people feel like mentally disturbed or challenged kids, can't be tamed. I mean, I think if you sit down and talk to a lot of these kids, it won't be as bad as you think. Let's see what else we got. Sue, let me see if I can pull it up here. Wow, that's a lot, Sue. Whoa, that's a lot. Okay, Sue said, let me get this so where I can see it. I don't know if it's, all right, let me go. I don't know if it's quite stress that's going on in the country. We all have stress in life. This country have too much corruption, and what we're seeing is God's words, that everything done in darkness shall come to light. Look at how in Arbery's case came to the light. Bragging video uploaded. Look at the DA in Arbery's case for her corruption behavior. Was exposed, and now she is charged. I think the judge should be disbarred and charged for the same two charges as the DA. He ignored Wisconsin Statute 948.60. What statute is that? I have to look that up. And 941.28, which he can use to carry out the gun. The main part of their laws, which states a minor can legally have a rifle or shotgun only for target practice or hunting with license. Kyle was a minor without a license. I do believe he went hunting BLM. I had predicted that it will some mass murders due to that trial. Yeah, I had no clue it would be so soon. Well, I guess the parents thought they could get off just like Kyle's mom did for driving him there. This would be a lesson to the family. Wow. Yep, Sue, that was a lot, but you are correct on everything you said. I must agree with you on that. Crystal said, in this situation, the parents need charge too. They apparently all have some issues after giving their troubled kid a gun. As for terrorism charge, it was a planned attack. That's terrorism. Wow. Okay, I guess you're schooling me today. You hear that, Badger? It was a planned attack, so it was terrorism. Patricia Brown, she said, right, many had a reason to be the way they are. Cause and effect. Just saying, poverty, abuse, shame, bullying, so many things play a role in their mental health. Wow. Yep. Sue said, yep, it could be an act of terrorism. People are terrorized. And Patricia said, not saying it's an excuse, but understanding a little better after working with some of these kids. Yeah, that's a good point right there, just trying to get some better understanding and whatnot with the kids. Let me play the video here.
They let him back in class with this type of severity. How does that happen?
I'm not going to give you a political answer, and I'm not going to cover for anybody, and I'm just going to say what I think, and that is, of course he shouldn't have gone back to that classroom. Of course he shouldn't have. And I don't have ill feelings or negative feelings about anyone, and but of course he should have. He should not have been allowed to go back to that class. And I believe that is a universal position, and I'm not going to chastise or attack, but yeah, I mean it.
But you have the task of reviewing whether there's criminal negligence.
I do, and the investigation is ongoing.
Were these involuntary manslaughter charges the strongest possible charges you were considering for the parents?
It's the strongest possible charge that we could prove, and that there's probable cause to charge.
So obviously it's illegal for a minor to own a handgun. What are Michigan's laws regarding bringing a child to a firing range and practicing with them? States have different rules on that. I'm not sure where we're at.
Good question. Michigan's laws are woefully inadequate. We don't have a safe storage law. We're not legally required to store your weapon in a safe manner. Children are allowed to attend with their parents so long as their parent is present. So the answer to that question is we don't have strong enough laws.
Have you uncovered any evidence for the gun purchase and the days leading up to this that shows what his state of mind was? Were the parents aware what his state of mind was leading up to the day of the shooting?
There's evidence about state of mind prior to that day. I can't comment on it, and it is not related to the allegations that we're making at this time. Yes.
Were any of the teachers injured in the shooting? One of the teachers who made any of the complaints?
I don't believe so, but I can't say that for certain.
Prosecutor, how long was the plot? You described it as premeditated. How long had it been meditated?
Long enough. Yes.
They asked me some weird questions.
You said that at one point the thought of being aware that the gun was missing. Is there any indication that he might have known the gun was missing before the shooting or during or before that meeting with the principals?
Upon hearing that there was an active shooter on that day, Mr. Crumbley drove straight to his home to look for his gun. I think that's all I need to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps
He knew.
reliable if they could see that the weapon was being purchased for a 15-year-old, not really for the father.
Based on what we've reviewed, the gun shop owner is not under investigation.
Do you know at any point during these meetings with the counselors and the parents if there was any talks to reach out to the on-site SRO officer with these concerns?
Whether they did or not,
Or if there was talks to reach out to them, why they didn't, if there was concern enough to bring the parents in and to have these meetings?
I don't know. I don't think we have at this point full statements that I've reviewed.
A lot of, we've been here now for a few days and talked to some law enforcement and sheriff's people and other people are really angry at the school. I mean, obviously there's issues with the parents. But there is a lot of
So a lot of people are angry at the school.
with this school. And I know it may not be your responsibility to address it, but since you're the first person in all these days to talk about this, what is your response to that?
I'd be angry too.
Mm.
And I am. But that doesn't mean that there's a criminal culpability. But yes, I'd be angry. I would be angry. I am angry. I'm angry as a mother. I'm angry as the prosecutor. I'm angry as a person that lives in this county. I'm angry. There were a lot of things that could have been so simple to prevent. And yes, there was a perfectly executed response, and he was apprehended immediately, and we have great law enforcement and good training. But I said before, 4 kids were murdered, and then 7 more injured. So yes, I think we should all be very angry, and we should take a very hard look at what is in place in terms of criminal responsibility, what gun owners are required to do.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I will say this every single hour on the hour, and I think that I have. I am not here to say that people shouldn't own guns. I know a lot of people who own guns, but they do so responsibly. And it's your
I like what Patricia said here, not saying it's an excuse, but I understand a little better after working with some of these kids. Yep. I mean, just, working, talking to them more and working with kids more, I think you get a better understanding of them.
responsibility. It's your duty to make sure that you don't give access to this deadly weapon to somebody that you have reason to believe is going to harm someone.
Exactly.
And it is our position that on that morning, particularly that morning, but also the day before, but that morning, looking at that drawing, it's impossible not to conclude that there was a reason to believe he was going to hurt somebody.
Wow, she let him have it.
Explanation as to why the school resource officer was not included in that meeting.
Hold on a minute, because Sue said, I taught K through 12 in special ed, and I'm not sure what Patricia means that she now understands the kids. I understand she not making excuses, so it's empathy. Okay, interesting. And Patricia says, Sue, I worked with emotional disturbed kids. That is why I said that. Wow. Okay, so you guys have some experience working with kids and things like that. That's good. Let's play the video.
That morning at the school.
I don't have any information. One more question, yes?
Can I ask you?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you confirm the date that Ethan, or the suspect, was searching for ammo on his phone?
It was the day before the shooting.
Okay. And can you confirm the name of the gun shop where they got it? They bought the gun?
It was Acme.
And then one more question.
You said 2.
Were classes were they on Zoom the day leading up to Thanksgiving, and was that related to this threat?
I can't speak to that. I know that there were in-person classes on that day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Prosecutor.
Thank you guys. My phone is.
But you are going to come.
Yep, and that's a wrap on that press meeting right there. Man. So, what did we learn, you guys? What was learned today? To pay attention to what's going on with the kids. To throw yourselves in their lives a little bit more and not just be so passive when a teacher's trying to tell you, hey, I think your son might have some issues because they're drawing some crazy sinister things. You might want to pay attention to that, and you might want to take that a little bit more seriously. And this is maybe how our country can stop having all these school killings. Patricia said, you would not believe half of what those kids have been through in their first 5 or 6 years of life. Many of the emotionally disturbed kiddos I work with have horror stories. Wow. Man, that's sad, man. But yeah, I could definitely believe that. Kids go through a lot more than we think, you know. They see a lot more than we think, and we don't know really what's going on behind closed doors at their house and what they're going through. So, yeah, you're right. Sue, you're replying to Patricia. I see how to reply. I definitely understand the empathy. I believe the parents in the school dropped the ball. Yep. This is true. Patricia said, not saying it pertains to this kid, but with the ones I work with, it was bad. Okay. So you guys, that was the press meeting, whatever you call that. But there's another controversial video regarding schools and white children or white people in school shootings or something like that. Her name is Candace Owen. She's a very well-known talk show host of sorts. She had something to say about this incident. Let me play this video and let's talk about this video. See if I can pull that up.
Hey Facebook, I want to make this video because it's an important topic and I know that a lot of people are discussing the horrible tragedy that took place at a high school today. And I just have a lot on my mind right now, so I'm going to do a little Candace session. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to start with this tweet that Elon Musk tweeted, and it was not at all related to the high school shooting. He tweeted it earlier today. He wrote, the overarching problem is that we need better mental firewalls for the information constantly coming at us. He then went on to ask the question, who wrote the software running in your head? Are you sure you want it there? I think that's an incredibly powerful tweet. That's a very important question, and it kind of hit me because obviously, you guys have seen my political awakening, spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call it, over the last 4 years. And really this took place when I realized that there was a software downloaded into my head from the time that I was a little kid that I was not aware of and that I did not agree to. And it was informing my entire life. And when I woke up to the fact that I was being brainwashed and lied to, I suddenly wanted to make others aware of the similar software. Like, you're taking in so much information and you perceive reality in a way that you think is authentically your own, but it's not. So I read this tweet and I sort of saved it from Elon Musk. And when I got out of filming today, I had obviously saw the horrible news that was trending on Twitter, and people were discussing it over on Parler about the school shooting, the high school shooting. And I made, I guess, the mistake of thinking that in this short amount of time where no details were released at all about the shooter, not the shooter's race, or the shooter's gender for that matter, that people would just say this is a horrible tragedy. I mean, people died. Students died. So,
What do you guys think about
when
what
young
she's saying
people
so
die in
far?
a
What?
horrible tragedy, you would like to think.
Leave a
that
comment. Let me know
the adults in the room
what
can
you're
just acknowledge that
thinking
this is sad and wait for the political
about
debate,
what
but
she's
we
got to
aren't
say so far.
at that place in society anymore. And so instead, when I was looking at people's comments, people were researching the median income in the region that the shooting took place, and the race, the race of the average person that lives in this county. And they had determined, several people had tweeted, well, the shooter was taken alive, so we can assume that the shooter is white. Other people had tweeted, this is a majority white county, and so we can assume that the shooter was once again white, and started talking about white people and mass shootings. And this astonished me because these were adults that were tweeting this, and you would think that adults would be more informed, and apparently they're not more informed. And it astonished me also because I once thought that. Like, I knew exactly where they were coming from. Like, when I was just a complete programmed bot, I thought the same thing. I thought that white lone shooters, every time you think of a mass shooting, I always say, oh, it's a white guy. A white guy did this. I would always think that as I was growing up, because that's what I was programmed to think. And yet the facts completely betray that narrative. And we have to start talking about those facts, because I think that we are on the brink of a global awakening. I think people are understanding now that our media is dangerous. It is just a dangerous enterprise of
I think
programming
everybody's
and
starting to
brainwashing us.
realize
It's been
how
going
dangerous
on
media
for
is
decades
these days.
and decades. And we have to say the truth as often as they say the lies. And I want to make this video because this isn't about black versus white. Actually, this situation makes me realize that the media neither supports white or black people. In reality, all they support are government structures gaining more power from the individuals, and they're willing to let both white and black people die to fulfill that hunger and that thirst to make the government more big and more totalitarian over our lives.
She is spitting right now. She's
so
talking
first and
truth.
foremost, on the topic of a school shooting, just a few facts that portray this idea that black shooters are always killed. First and foremost, the last school shooting took place earlier this year at Timberview High School. You might not recall it because it was
Let me pause it. Patricia said, was that kid, are you saying YouTube? Is YT? What are you asking? Was this kid YT? Yes. So yeah, kind of let me know what you mean by that question. I don't know if you're asking if he was a YouTuber or YT. I don't know. Let me play the video. What? Pale? Was he white? Is that what you're asking? Yeah. Ethan was white. Yep. Can't write the whole word or to end up in Facebook jail. Oh, okay. I'm wondering, like, what is going on here? Have to say, let me see. Have to say YT because Facebook algorithm. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Oh, you guys are schooling me today on some stuff. Let me play the video.
Flip in the media. It was a black student in Timberview High School who came and shot at a classmate of his, injured 4 people, and was taken away by police officers and was not killed in the process. Not only was he not killed in the process, but he was released on bail just 1 day later. Obviously, the most recent domestic terror attack, probably the biggest domestic terror attack that we have had in a very long time, injuring 62 people, took place just last week. The Waukesha, Wisconsin van attack. 62 people injured. 8 people are in critical condition in the hospital, and 6 people are
Waukesha.
dead. Again, that was a black suspect, Darrell Brooks, we know, who had previously committed so many crimes and yet was walking the streets. because he had made bail over and over and over again. And once again, he was taken peaceably. So this idea that somehow when Black people commit crimes, they're killed by police is just a media lie. So I wanted to just go over a couple
I was
of
just asking
things
that
you
because
should
most of
know
the comments I
about
saw
guns
yesterday
in this
assumed
country,
he
and you
was
should know
not
about gun
white.
homicides.
Oh, really?
I think the most important piece of this
Okay.
is that 37% of gun homicides in America, and I'm reading this direct because I know how the fact checkers on Facebook are, look for any excuse to pull down the truth. 37% of gun homicide in America is committed by Black men and boys between the ages of 15 and 34. That is 37% of gun homicide by that one particular group that represents just 2% of the population. 2% of the population accounting for 37% of all gun homicides in this country. Last year, there were 19,479 gun homicides in America. The majority of them were committed Black men. The majority of the victims were also Black individuals. In fact, in 2020, there were 611 mass shootings, the majority of which were committed by Black men. Now, I want to be very clear here because this is where you really understand how evil and backwards the media is. You will hear the media say over and over again that the majority of mass shootings are committed by white men. Let me tell you how they were able to manipulate that definition. When somebody says that to you, you have to ask them to define a mass shooting.
Badger says stop
Apparently,
oppressing
the journalists
them.
use a very narrowly tailored definition of a mass shooting,
So I hope
that they can lie and pretend that the
she's
majority
talking all
of
this,
mass
all
shootings
these
are committed by white
statistics.
people.
I hope
This
she
definition comes from a group
really
called the
knows
Violence
what
Project.
she's
It's a
talking about
left-leaning
here.
group. They follow the narrow definition of the Congressional Research Service, which
Yeah, I'm not a
requires
big,
that the attacks
huge fan
be
of Candace
in public,
either,
and that they
Patricia.
do not include domestic
But
shootings or any shootings
I
that
felt
are
like this
attributable
topic was
to
pretty
underlying
relevant to
criminal
the school
activity.
shooting,
So
so
all of these events
I
that
thought
we're
I would
watching,
kind of throw this little segment
all of
in
these
there.
crimes take
But
place
most of
where,
the time,
if you see a Black guy walk into a barbecue and he
she's,
shoots 9 people, it
I
doesn't
don't
count,
agree with a
right?
lot
So
of
this
what
is
she
actually
says,
the majority of the
for
way
the
shootings
most
take
part.
place. Obviously, they're domestic. Obviously, there's some form of criminal activity. So when you see, a gang shooting taking place, they're not counting any of these mass shootings because what they're intentionally trying to do is to remove the majority of the shootings which take place in Black communities. So they came up with a clever way to do this by redefining what a mass shooting was. But if you look at the most obvious definition of mass
Sue
shooting,
said
which is just
she
any
doesn't.
shooting,
She spews out
in which
BS
4 or more people
stats.
are injured.
Yeah, because
It
that
would
number
include-
she
which
just
include,
said it.
Everybody by race, not
did
including
not add up
depending on
to
the
me.
scenario, whether it was domestic violence or gang related. Just, hey, it was a mass shooting. Multiple people were injured. 4 or more people were injured. The overwhelming majority of mass shooters are Black Americans. And these are the
What?
kinds of tricks that the media is playing because they want
The majority
narrative
of
out there
mass
to be,
shooters
despite
are
the
Black.
fact
I don't
that
know
once
about
again,
that one. The
if they wanted
majority?
to help save Black lives, we would
Come on,
talk
man.
about
I
the
don't know
incidents
about that one,
of the
Candace.
Black children that
I
are
think
killed
you reaching.
because of gun violence on the streets of Chicago, on the streets of Detroit. I was
I mean,
shocked
yeah,
to see
Chicago
Governor
crazy
Whitmer
and
of
Detroit's
Michigan
crazy,
came
but
out, and
still,
of course, they are beating
your
the usual
numbers
drum.
still don't
Now we need to talk
don't
about
add
gun
up.
safety and gun violence and policies that we can put in place. It's essentially, how do we make the government bigger? How do we give the government more power because of this gun violence? Interestingly enough, though, last year Detroit saw a 19% increase in homicide and a 53% increase in shootings, and yet Governor Whitmer made no comment at all about all of the shootings that were taking place. I mean, a 53% increase in shootings, and she said nothing about gun violence at all. And that's because the Black police chief
Patricia
of Detroit
says she
spoke out
is
and said that
lying.
this is
Typical
attributable
conservative
to the lockdowns.
BS.
We are seeing these shootings and these mass shootings take place on a higher scale
Yeah.
because people are locked down at home,
Oh,
and we
she
are seeing a
talk- I
higher
don't know.
instance of
Some of her
domestic violence.
stuff
But of
ain't
course,
really-
those incidents are not recorded.
She gonna have to give me
or they don't count
some
across the
numbers,
mainstream media.
something I can
so
look
again,
at.
You need to understand every time that you hear the word mass shooting, the journalists are discussing a very narrowly tailored definition of a mass shooting, of what it means to be a mass shooting, which pretty much disinvites all of black criminality, the overwhelming majority of black criminality, because they want you to
Badger
focus
says she's a
on just
female
white people,
version of the
every
former
time they pick
Sheriff
up a gun,
Clark.
even though they are not the majority. They do not represent the majority of gun homicides in this country, which is staggering because black Americans are just 13% of the population, but we account for over 50% of all the murders in this country.
What?
And I don't say that
Candace,
at all
man, girl,
as a means to
what is you
denigrate black
saying?
Americans. I say it because it's true, right? I say it because it's true, and because if you actually care about black people, if you're a white person and you perpetuate this lie and you talk about this idea as if black Americans every time they shoot are being killed by police, that would mean thousands and thousands and thousands of black men are killed by police. We know that if you combined both black and white people over the last 5 years, you wouldn't get 1,000 people that were killed by police. We know that actually last year, and here's a very interesting statistic, 241 black people in 2020 were killed by police. Obviously, that includes violent criminals who were trying to kill police, and police killed them first. So that's 241 black people. But 457 white people were killed by police, right? So actually what those statistics tell us, and they're so hard to find because they are constantly trying to lie to black people and to brainwash us and to program us and to make us actually think that the white man is the issue, and it's not the white man, right? And if you look at those statistics, the story that it actually tells is that in violent scenarios, white men are more likely to be killed by police officers, more likely to be killed by police officers than black men. And yet that's not the media
What y'all
narrative.
thinking about
the media
this?
Is bending over
Do you
backwards
guys agree
to
with
tell
she's
this lie.
saying or what?
So the question is why, right? The question is why, because
Let me
a
know
lot
in
of
the
people say
comment
this sort
section
of
if y'all
easy
buying
answer. They say, oh,
or
because
y'all
the media
picking up
wants
what she
to
putting down. Let me know.
cause a race war. And yes and no at the same time. That's too easy. Like, the media does not love black people. They're not doing this because they want to help black people. Obviously not. If they wanted to help black people, they would tell you the truth. They would say, we are dealing with an instance of public health crisis in black neighborhoods. We are dealing with an increase of black deaths. We are dealing by gun violence in the cities. We are dealing with an increase in criminality. They don't say these things, right? It's not because they hate white people either. I don't believe either is true. I don't think they want to inspire a race war. I think all they are trying to do is to divide regular Americans because it's the easiest means for them to achieve power, right? What does the government want? They want
I
your
like
guns.
this one, Badger. That's a good
obviously,
one.
They want your guns. There's been a steady push.
The death
and
of one
I think
is a
what better way to
tragedy.
do it than during a
The
topic
death
that's
of
so
millions
sensitive,
is
during
just a
something as
statistic.
horrible as a tragedy of a school
Nice.
shooting. When is a better time to beat the drum loudly and to get people to dig into their emotions and to maybe acquiesce to more federal control? What better time to do that than when you're talking about innocent children out of school? They don't care about saving the lives of children. Obviously they don't, because you know that black children have something like a 20% more likely to die by gun violence. They don't talk about that. They don't care because it stays in the inner cities, and they need the inner cities to continue to be run by criminality so that they always have an issue to stump on, right? They're not ever wanting, if they wanted to solve gun violence, they wouldn't only talk about it during these narrow times of gun violence. They would talk about it all year. They would talk about it consistently. They would listen to the local groups in Chicago and Detroit, tons of black Americans doing great work to draw attention to these causes. Instead, they're purposefully allowing these deaths to be discounted. They're allowing these deaths to be discounted by using groups like the Violence Project to follow a very narrow definition of what a mass shooting is, so that nobody ever talks about the truth. Instead, they focus on the thing that inspires more emotion. It's sad that something as horrible as a tragedy as a school shooting is just a game of political engineering. It's sad to me that that they don't actually care about the young lives that were lost in this tragedy. And again, I don't know what the color of the shooter is. It has not been released yet, and it doesn't matter, because whether that person is black or that person
so this
is
must
white,
been-
it doesn't
she must
at
have
all
dropped this
change
video the day
conversation
of
about
the
criminality. It doesn't at all change the
shooting,
more important
because
statistics
we
that
know
we never
now
talk
that
about, which is
he
that
was a
in these
Caucasian
cases
male.
of shootings, and all shootings, not just the ones that take place at the narrowly tailored definition of the Violence Project, but all shootings, is that the majority of these shooters grow up without a father in the home. You know, we need dads. We need families back together. You know, people turn to the
That's funny,
streets and
Sue.
turn to gangs when they are not being fathered, and they're not getting that parental guidance that they need in the homes. These are conversations that we should be having as a community, but instead we are being hindered by a government that wants nothing but power for itself. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about white people dying. They don't care about black people dying. They don't care about children. They don't care about adults. They care about themselves, and they care about power. And so, unfortunately, that's what we're going to see take place over the next few days, depending on the race of the shooter. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to get that out because it was something that bothered me. And
Candace,
tonight on my episode of
killing
Candace
me.
on the Daily Wire, we are talking about the media and the propaganda. We're talking about the CIA's Operation Mockingbird, which is still going on today, very clearly. Even though Wikipedia now wants you to think it's a suggestion and they don't know if it's real. Of course, the CIA employs journalists. They always have. And I think we're all finally waking up to that fact that the journalists are not here to do anything but to aid the government in garnering more power for itself. So I hope you guys will tune in. As always, I tell you to subscribe if you haven't already. www.dailywire.com/subscribe, and you can use my code RESIST.
Okay, enough of that. So I don't know. I thought she was talking about some real relevant stuff with school shootings, and then she just got way off the mark. And yep, I agree with Badger on that one. More rhetoric with no solutions. Yep, that's about right. So, you guys, what did we learn today? Pay attention to what the hell your kids is doing in school and talk to your kids and talk to them as much as possible, because now apparently you can be held accountable for the actions that your kids take. If they decide to go to school and shoot people, you could possibly be charged, as Ethan Crumbley and his parents did. 4 counts apiece. I hope that we learned something watching this video today. You guys, if you're not subscribed to me on YouTube and Facebook, go ahead and do that. Follow me so you know the next time I go live. Hit the alerter bell. If you guys are on Facebook watching, you can use the command !notify. And when you put that in the comment section, you will automatically be notified the next time I go live. Appreciate you guys for coming and watching. I just wanted to jump on here and show you guys this press conference that they were charging the parents. But I do plan on going live again real soon. On Monday, I'm thinking I want to probably do the Dante Wright trial. I think Monday is like the official start, or is it Wednesday? Because I know they did jury selection already, so the actual court hearing should be like ready to go. I think all the jury, they have their jury, I believe. So follow me, you guys, if you want to watch me react to the court case. I'll be doing some of that, and of course, I hit the streets as well, doing some in real life IRL streaming in the streets. So follow me, you guys, if you're not already, and hit that alerter bell so that you know the next time I go live. And thanks again, you guys, for joining. It's always fun talking to you guys and hearing your comments and all that good stuff. It's always a good time. But remember, you guys, if you can't come real, then at least come raw. Raw topic, you guys. Peace out. Whoa.
Perfect.